Protection with Blessings. Maṅgala Sutta. By Venerable Uttamo Thera. 6. Directing oneself rightly. It did not mention much about directing oneself rightly in the commentary. It mentioned only saddha, sila and kāga, faith, virtue and generosity, there. It only suggested that someone who had been immoral should establish himself in virtuous behaviors and miserly in generosity due to lacking for faith on the triple treasures, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. Most importantly, the law of karma, should establish himself at last in faith. This blessing seems the most important one because it related to every human on the earth now. Whatever karma of one's past lives may be, we cannot change them anymore. We are starting our many good karmas now in this life, and they will affect our future lives to come in samsara. So this blessing is visible to everyone now. It totally can change one's present life and future to come. For this point and its evidence, we can know from the lives of some well-known monks and lay disciples of the Buddha in suttas. A set of dharmas leading towards a noble growth was mentioned by the Buddha to the monks. It was in the Book 5 of Anguttara Nikaya recorded as Growth Discourse, Wealth Discourse, and 5.47 Dhanasuttam. It seemed to relate to the blessing now we are discussing. The following 5 factors which a male or a female disciple practiced would lead to a noble growth. These were 1. Faith, 2. Virtue, 3. Learning, listening and studying Dharma, 4. Generosity, 5. Wisdom. Saddha, Sila, Sutta, Kāga and Panna. There was also a set of Dharma called 7 Noble Treasures, by adding 2 factors to the 5 factors above, and the other 2 are shame and fear of wrongdoing. These 2 are the guardians of the world and urgently needed for today humans. The Buddha said someone, a disciple, growing in these 5 ways absorbed the essence and the best of this present life. This person would become a superior man. These 5 factors can be included in the 3 trainings of Sila, Samadhi and Panna. Some Chinese Buddhists take the 3 Buddhist trainings as equal to the Chinese sages' teachings such as Taoism and Confucianism. Even they misrepresent the Buddha equal to them and the founders of other great religion. They represent the Arahant ideal lower than these sages. Therefore, there are a lot of Chinese Buddhists who still do not clear about the qualities of Buddha, Dharma and Sangha. Buddhists might misinterpret the Buddha's words without the study and knowledge of the Pali Nikayas. To start something in the right direction, we need knowledge about them. Therefore, learning and studying or education is important. We can have right views and thoughts, thinking, and following right actions with the right or wholesome education. It will get the good results or wholesome results with right actions. Only possessing the knowledge of the Buddha Dharma can have interest or trust, faith, to try it. The 5 ways or factors of noble growth was arranged systematically, and all the Buddha, Dharma were in this way. According to the Buddha, whoever was possessing with these 5 noble growth could fulfill his wish, chanda, which was not by prayers. For setting up oneself in the right course, develop faith, saddha, and makes it strong if someone does not have it, follow the sila, morality and practice it if no precept, etc. Atta Samāpatti is let the mind in the wholesome and good direction. Therefore, speech and actions also include. Ta Pai Kan Sayadaw took it as a very important blessing. In the Dhammapada, the Buddha taught us that the unwholesome mind brought sufferings, and the wholesome mind brought happiness. Unwholesome mind brings more sufferings to oneself than one's enemies. The wholesome mind brings happiness to oneself, which others cannot give. A negative mind is an untrained mind and without protection. If we look at the world situations, a lot of social problems, natural disasters, and other sufferings come from this mind. For directing oneself rightly, Sayadaw told us to follow the instructions and practice accordingly to the Ambalataka Rahulovada Sutta in the Majjhimā Nikāya. The gist of the instruction and practice is, before our mental, verbal, and bodily actions, firstly we must reflect that it has the benefit to oneself and others or not harmful to oneself and others. It also has reflected in this way during the actions and after the actions. It has 3 stages. We should admit it if we do something wrong, and then decide not to do it again. It will bring happiness if the actions are good and right, and we should take joy in it. This instruction was the Buddha given to his 7-year-old son, novice Rahula. It is good to train or educate our children with this sutta. There was another sutta in the Anguttara Nikāya called Kaka Sutta, the wheels, and .4.31 Kakasuttam. There are 4 wheels. 1. Residing in a suitable place. 2. Associating with people of integrity, wise and noble. 3. Rightly directing oneself. 4. Having done merit in the past. They are mutually conditioning and supporting each other. Therefore, these are like wheels. Human beings will achieve greatness, status, honor, etc. Abundance in terms of wealth and happiness if they are endowed with them. Most Buddhists have the chances and opportunity to develop them because more or less we have it. Only we do not know the suttas or educate with the suttas that not doing it rightly or properly. Instead, we waste our times with worthless worldly matters. We can illustrate the importance of the 4 wheels with 2 well-known characters of the Buddha's disciples, Devadatta and Angulimala. Both of their lives give us food for thought on Dharma if we contemplate it. First, let us contemplate on Devadatta. Among the 4 wheels he was lacking in the no. 3 wheel of rightly directing oneself, which is the most important one of the 4 wheels and relates to the present actions, kammas. This 3rd wheel also leads to the other 3. Someone can change his life towards better life by combining with intelligence, knowledge, and effort. Even his past action was not very good. As an example, the 16th President of United States of America, Abraham Lincoln. Devadatta was born into the privileged upper class at the time of spiritual development where a Buddha would soon appear. He was also a cousin and brother-in-law of the Buddha, who also his spiritual teacher. He was one of the perfect persons conducive for enlightenment. But he directed himself wrongly to commit heavy kammas because of his evil thoughts and hunger for power and ended up in the great hell. Angulimala's given name was Ahimsaka, harmless one, and he was the son of the Brahmin who was the chaplain to King Pasenadi of Kosala. Ahimsaka's life could be divided into 3 episodes for contemplation. In his first period as a young man, he was completed with the 4 wheels when he was studying at Takasila, which seemed at nowadays Pakistan. He became his teacher's favorite, and his fellow students were jealous of him. So they make the story with malicious speech informing the teacher about Ahimsaka's affair with his wife. The unwise teacher believed them without any inquiry. Therefore, in order to ruin Ahimsaka, he commanded him to bring 1,000 human right hands fingers for the honor. So he started to kill people and became a violent bandit. At first, He did not keep the hand fingers properly, so that most of them were destroyed. Later he put them all like a garland on his neck and became well known and frightened by all as Angulimala, garland of fingers. In his second episode of life as a bandit, he was wrongly directing himself that nearly ruined his whole life, because he wanted to kill a woman whom he met and got the last finger he needed after he got 999 human hand fingers, and she was his mother, who was looking for him. This was a heavy evil karma, and it surely would let him fall into the great hell. The compassionate Buddha came in between them and saved his whole life. Later he became an arahant. In the third episode of his life, he became a monk and disciple of the Buddha and corrected his foolish way. This episode was rightly directing himself that not only not falling into the great hell, but also ending all dukkha. Here we can see the importance of a teacher. One's life is totally ruined with a wrong teacher, e.g., Prince Ajatasattu. Here there are two important qualities: easy to instruct, suvako, and compliance, sovakasata, between teacher and student, or parents and children. Both Devadatta and Angulimala were conducted wrongly in the wrong direction. But only Angulimala had the qualities of easy to instruct and compliance, that he was saved from danger and on the way to success. If we want progress and happiness, we need these four conditioned cycles or wheels. In the past, if we had the fourth wheel, and in this life, we have the chances of 1, 2, and 3 wheels. In this life, if we have 1, 2, and 3 wheels, and we'll do the 4 again. Therefore, it is like a cycle and very important for every human being. By study and understanding the Buddha's teaching clearly, and we know how to use this life properly and wisely. Human beings are using their lives foolishly, that many problems and sufferings arise in societies. Protection with Blessings. Maṅgala Sutta. By Venerable Uttamo Thera. Samāpatti, Success, and Vipatti, Failure. In this section, I want to discuss more on karmas. Because it is universal and natural laws, no living beings can escape it or stay away from it. Also, it has a lot of connections with this section. Only we have the right and good education knows how to live this life for oneself and others and create harmonious, peaceful, and happy societies. In the small booklet, Abhidhamma in Daily Life by Ven. Sayadaw Mahahandayon was included a section on karma. Samāpatti, Success, and Vipatti, Failure, complete with related causes and lacking with related causes. In living beings' minds, there are a lot of kamic result energies or powers latent in them. It always follows the living beings in their khandhas processes if they do not have the chances to give the results. When the chances and causes are there, wholesome karmas give favorable results, and unwholesome karmas give the uncomfortable results. The four successes, Samāpatti. 1. Gati Samāpatti, having a good existence. 2. Upadhi Samāpatti, having a good look and physical structure. 3. Kala Samāpatti, living at the time of good periods. 4. Payoga Samāpatti, the presence of mindfulness, intelligence and perseverance. The four failures, Vipatti. 1. Gati Vipatti, having a bad existence. 2. Upadhi Vipatti, having an ugly look and physical structure. 3. Kala Vipatti, living at the time of chaos, with bad leaders and governments. 4. Payoga Vipatti, lacking with mindfulness, intelligence and perseverance. Protection with blessings. Maṅgala Sutta. By Venerable Uttamo Thera. Having a good, bad existence. Having a good existence. Human being, deity, and Brahma God are good existences. When the beings are in these existences, their wholesome karmas have the chances to give the results. Even human world still has some sufferings, the other two are not. With the wholesome karmas have the chances to give the results that a person has the good sense objects as experiences. Even he has some unwholesome karmas with him. These not have many chances to come in. Even though human existence is not free from sufferings, it is a lot better than the four woeful states, hell, animal, ghost, and tormented spirits of Asura. Therefore, more or less the wholesome karma has the chance to come in and experience the good sense objects and stay away from the bad ones. Having a bad existence. The four woeful states are called Gati Vipatti. The unwholesome karmas have the chances for the results when a being is born there. The beings in hells and ghost realms are always in dukkha, torturing and burning with sufferings. Even animals are a little better. But they still have the chances of unwholesome karmas, give the results of starvation, thirst, and encounter with strong heat and rains. And kill with sticks and knives or eaten by others. The small insects are very easily killed by human beings with pesticides or stepping on them, etc. Even they have the past good karmas with them and none of it could save them. Protection with blessings. Maṅgala Sutta. By Venerable Uttamo Thera. Having a good, ugly look and physical structure. Having a good existence. Having a good look and physical structure. Physical good look is important in the human world. A woman poor and low status but beautiful and attractive could reach to a higher status. Then her past good karma has the chance to give good results. For example, a woman had beauty became a queen, consort, etc. Mrs. Simpson became the wife of King Edward because of having a good look. Do not talk about human. Even beautiful and cute animals will be looked after by wealthy people. Their lives are even better than some human beings. Having an ugly look and physical structure. Someone has an ugly look, but with wealth and higher status. Still, he or she has difficulty in the same social class. This was evident in the Jataka story of Prince Kusa and the beautiful woman Pabhavati. To conquer her heart, the Bodhisattva had to suffer a lot. The ugly Prince Kusa was one of the past lives of the Bodhisattva. A beautiful woman with an ugly husband and others will take him as her servant. Once I met a businesswoman with fair complexion and a good look. Near her was a man with brown skin and ugly. He was managing her business with some workers. I took him as her worker. Later found out that he was her husband. Protection with blessings. Maṅgala Sutta. By Venerable Uttamo Thera. Living at the time of a good, chaotic period. Living at the time of good period. At the time when countries are governed by good leaders and governments, these leaders and governments have skills, morals, good plannings, etc. For the welfare of the people and the countries, so human beings' good karmas can have the chances to experience good sense objects. People are free from worries and difficulties. If we study ancient Chinese history, the Chu dynasty periods were a very good example. It lasted for 800 years and the longest dynasty in Chinese history. It was prosperous and long-lasting because the emperors and the citizens had moral integrity and virtues. Why was that? Because they had the education on morality and virtue, starting from the young age, from the emperors to the citizens. They followed the teachings or educations of the sages and wise people handed down from generation to generation. People had these kinds of education in family life, schools, and societies. By studying and researching Chinese written characters, i.e., Chinese letter or word, we'll find out the profound wisdom of the sages of the past. Human moral integrity and virtues are like the root of a tree. If the root is rotten, then the tree will die and does not have the chance to bear fruits. Human mind and behavior not only affect societies greatly, but also to the great nature. Again, if we study and research the Buddhist culture in some Theravadan countries such as Burma, etc. Until the first half of the 20th century, Burmese were starting their education at a very young age at the village monasteries. Parents were also very close to the monasteries and the monks. Therefore, the whole family, more or less, knew the Dhamma, especially in morality and virtues. They had been heard or read the Jataka stories and the law of Kamma, including the Dhammapada stories. Most Buddhists and scholars overlook the Jataka stories and might take them as myths and fairy tales. These bodhisattvas' stories of past lives were more realistic than the Greek mythology, Alice in Wonderland, Harry Potter's stories, etc. It teaches us how to develop the 10 perfections in 3 levels, basic, middle and higher, and become good-hearted, wise and noble human. It will lead us to noble growth and to possess the 7 noble treasures. The well-known international meditation teacher S.N. Goenka once mentioned the moral virtues of Burmese Buddhists in one of his essays in Vipassana Journal. It mentioned about his grandfather, who was on a business journey, forgetting his bag of money at the public rest place. He only knew about it after arriving at a weekend marketplace far away. He had no time to go back and get the bag of money, only after he finished his business and went back to get it. The money was still there waiting for him. Even his grandfather mentioned that someone lost a gold ring in the marketplace, no one would take it. This kind of moral integrity was very evident in villages. The farmers went to the fields for work or slept at night. They never closed their home doors and never lost their properties. Buddhist texts mentioned 3 kinds of eon: an interim eon, an incalculable eon, and a great eon. Antarakapa, an interim eon, is from 10 years to the maximum of many thousands of years. And they are then falling back to 10 years. It is Kala Samāpatti for the time when human lifespans are rising. The increasing of human lifespans is depending on moral integrity, virtues, weather, and foods. These were mentioned by the Buddha in the Cakkavatti Sutta, Sutta No. 26, Digha Nikaya, DN.26 Cakkavattā. Now, our human lifespans are falling back towards 10 years. Therefore, all human beings have to be very careful with our minds, speech and actions. For human survivals, peace and happiness, we all have the responsibilities. Living at the time of chaotic periods. There are the bad periods. Evil, unqualified, immoral emperors, kings, and leaders governing the countries. The time is also Kala Vipatti, when countries are destroyed or in wars. All these things we can see in Africa, in the Middle East and other places. There are also other causes. Some foreign superpowers interfere with purposes and made the problems greater and the situations are worsened, e.g., the Iraq War and the Syrian War. With these kinds of period, the unwholesome kammas of human beings have the chances to come in. people are becoming poor and starving, with diseases and many other sufferings arise. At this time, people with good karmas, even their karmas, do not have the chances that they have to run for their lives and to hide. They cannot eat what they want and separate with their loved ones, etc. Protection with Blessings. Maṅgala Sutta. By Venerable Uttamo Thera. Presence, lacking of mindfulness, intelligence and perseverance. Presence of mindfulness, intelligence and perseverance. Sati, Viriya, Nana Apayoga. Nana, knowledge is not only the good one but also includes knowledge with faults in the unwholesome matters. Therefore, in everything has mindfulness, perseverance, cleverness, heedfulness, etc. Apayoga Samāpatti. In the realms of celestial beings and Brahma gods, this is not evident. But the results of this are very distinctive in the human world. There is very few strong unwholesome karma with them to give the immediate results. Therefore, other karmas are depending on one's Payoga Samāpatti will give the results. In gist, to get good results, we should not depend on the past karma only. We should also have to rely on this present Payoga Samāpatti. This Payoga is supporting for the past good karma. For someone's success in business, the past good karma includes 25% and the other 75% connected with this life, Sati, Viriya, and Nana. The 16th United States President Abraham Lincoln was a very good example. Even though he was born into a very poor family, his present good qualities such as wise, intelligent, sympathy, and effort made him a great man. Man has this quality not only progress in worldly affairs, but also Dharma, and he can develop the paramis for Nibbana. Payoga Samāpatti can prevent the unwholesome karmic results from arising. We can divide unwholesome into two types: strong and not strong, or big and small, or heavy and light. We cannot free from the strong, big, and heavy karmas with Payoga Samāpatti, but can reduce its power. For example, King Ajatasattu was sure to fall into the great hell by killing his father. But later he had remorse, had very strong faith in the Buddha and did other merits. All these were Payoga Samāpatti, that only fell into a smaller hell. Therefore, the smaller unwholesome karma can be prevented with it. Present Payoga Samāpatti can make one succeeds in business and has good health. In this way, Payoga Samāpatti is the main point for the wholesome karma to give the results. Someone has it can get an education, good spouse, good friends, can meet good teachers, can develop in education, prosper in wealth and status. In Payoga Samāpatti, knowledge of understanding things is the first important. Then have awareness in matters and not to be lazy to make an effort and perseverance when matters arise. Lacking of mindfulness, intelligence and perseverance. Without knowledge and intelligence become foolish. No mindfulness, heedlessness, laziness, no effort, etc. Payoga Vipatti. Has envy and avarice on others, impatience, anger and conceit in matters, etc. All these are Payoga Vipatti which disturb and hinder progress. The main point here is accept the strong or heavy unwholesome or wholesome karmas. The small or light karmas of the past have the chances or not is depending on human Payogas, Payoga Samāpatti and Vipatti. If someone always has Payoga Samāpatti, then the unwholesome karmas do not have the chances and only the wholesome ones. As a very good example, we should study the life of Yuan Liao Fan and his 4 lessons. He was a Ming dynasty Buddhist and changed his destiny with Payoga Samāpatti. For Payoga Vipatti, the renegade monk Devadatta was a very good example. There are a lot of Dharma which can be contemplated on concerning with Payoga Samāpatti and Vipatti, success and failure, because it is the subject of present karmas and situations. In the 31 realms of existence, human existence is the most important one. It is like an international airport. From here, every human can go to any part of the world. Human beings or living beings created all sorts of karmas from here, to hells, ghosts, animals, back to human and all kinds of deity. Even now we can see human hells, human ghosts, etc. on the earth. Born as a human being and encounter the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha are priceless. Majority of human beings are wasting their priceless opportunities. Instead, they misuse their times with sensual pleasures and even doing meaningless and foolish things. Therefore, they create a lot of negative karmas on earth. Very few people have wealth and powers, but they misuse them and create more serious negative karma, some world leaders, governments, and rich people. These are the greatest fools. Wise and intelligent people use their wealth and power for others. These are the wisest man and woman. Therefore, every Buddhist should create a lot of wholesome karmas, study and practice the Dharma.